I'd never been to a county fair in my life before this summer, so after I got a taste of one in Kansas, I decided to go whole hog in Kandiyohi County, Minnesota. If I'd only known how much I'd love them, I would never have waited this long. Farming has changed through generations, but it's still part of the Minnesota bloodline. There are endless acres of agriculture and dairy farming here, and thanks to the latter, they can keep on frying up those great Midwestern cheese curds. They are delicious.
Exactly, for the fairs we got to produce the cheese curds, but I think we're somewhere in that about 4,500 farms across the state of Minnesota still. They range in all shapes and sizes, but certainly that's less than what we had 5, 10, and 20 years ago.
If you've been out to county fairs, you might know what I didn't, that youth organizations like 4-H and FFA are huge influences here.
Maine to Hawaii, Alaska to Puerto Rico. So we have a lot of students. It's the largest student organization in the United States.
Livestock competitions were the focus that day for many student 4-H and FFAers who brought their cows, hogs, rabbits, just about name it, to be paraded before judges.
You come to the fair, the first thing you need to do is look up the different types of animals. We have the dairy cows, we have the beef cows, sheep, pigs, llamas, goats, we have rabbits, we have chickens, we have, I think one other animal I was going to mention. I mentioned llamas, we have llamas.
The pageantry behind these competitions really went beyond my wildest dreams, and the judging, that was an art form in itself.
Also just a bit more increase to that memory system. You see she's got more height, more width to that rear udder, a little bit more than this cow in second. Taking nothing away from the angularity and the femininity of the second cow.
This is enough to make any city slicker blush. You have to wonder what the other livestock competitions are like. Some of these animals seemed more petting zoo than fierce competitors, at least I thought.
You can show any number of species, so sometimes...
What about rabbits? That does seems to be a little bit low-key, like not so exciting.
The rabbits can be exciting. I also show rabbits. So anybody at the fair can show absolutely anything.
We had a couple of rabbits, but then somehow we got babies, and then...
Somehow.
They got in the same cage. Yeah, somehow they got in the same cage. We didn't know. We didn't see it happen.
By the way, this conversation happened moments after these same girls explained to me the complete rules of curling. I am definitely not in my element. I was curious about whether kids who, like me, didn't grow up on a farm had a way to channel their agricultural instincts.
So if you live in town, grew up in an area where you're not on a farm, you can contact and be in touch with farms and lease the cattle for the 4-H program.
Whoever thought I'd be walking a cow? My friends will hardly recognize me. I wound up my Minnesota stay with one more county fair, and I had a blast. But with that, my summer through the middle of the U.S. road trip had come to an end. And come to think of it, I guess that by the time you're hearing this, I'll have made it back home to New York City. It's not every day that people get to travel around the country and write about it and call that work. I have to admit, I've got a great job, but it wouldn't have been the same without the company. And so, thank you, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, South Dakota, and Minnesota for your indulgent good company, spirits, and of course, food. It was a great summer on the road. This is Seth Kugel, your frugal traveler, for the New York Times.